So first and foremost, I'd like to thank our members for their continued support of Viewpoint. Without you, we have no power. We have no voice. You are our voice and you are our power. So for all the members that take part, that participate, that engage, that take the information that we send out, thank you very much. We really do value your input. And I'd like to thank the volunteers that we have and the peer facilitators. This year's been really a good year, I think, for peer facilitation within Viewpoint. We've had a lot of opportunities for people with lived experience to play a part in the work of Viewpoint. And I have to say I'm exceedingly happy about that, because that's the way it should be. We should not just say that we want people to deliver services. We should be exemplary in that process. And by doing that, we hold a mirror up to other organizations, I hope. And I'd like to thank our partners and stakeholders as well who's supported Viewpoint. So that's Carers and Hearts, Mind, Guidepost, HPFT, the commissioners from HCC. They've been really helpful and supportive of Viewpoint. And again, if we talk about co-productive work, you can't be on your own, you can't be an island. You need to be part of something, working within something. And they call it the system, so I'll call it the system as well. Working within the system to try and change things and map things differently. I wanted to talk about the peer development pathway a little bit, but it really is about the fact that peer facilitators, as I've said before, run a lot of our services. And they support people with mental health challenges by sharing their wisdom and their own lived experience. But it's not just their own lived experience. They come to these sessions, connected sessions, group sessions, whatever, not just with their lived experience, but with skills, knowledge, and expertise. People aren't one-dimensional. They aren't just their lived experience. They're whole people, and we recognize that people are whole. And we don't just work with people's lived experience. So we have people with, we have people from all professional backgrounds within Viewpoint, I have to say, that help us to help other members. But I think becoming the peer facilitator and the peer pathway, peer development pathway, helps people to support individuals to increase their social interaction, reduce isolation, help them to feel more connected to others. And I think that's really important through the COVID period, more so. Reducing isolation, reducing loneliness, making sure that we have opportunities for people to feel connected. I think that's really important. And our connection sessions are just one dimension of that. But I know that has been really good in terms of winning us some funding to provide some closed peer support groups, and they've helped to reduce people's social isolation, but also help people gain confidence and self-determination. All right, so what we've achieved, we've attracted 100 new members. Again, every member is an increase in our power, increase in our voice. Myself and my colleagues have attended 82 meetings and committee meetings. I would say that if I just think about my team, just for an instance, there's me, there's the wonderful Christiana up there, there's Stephen, and to be honest, that's really the team really that goes to a number of meetings. Although I know that Jamie will say that she's attended one meeting recently, so that she might want to be counted into that equation. But you can see, and we always try to encourage when we go to meetings, ensuring that we take somebody with a lived experience background with us. So we're not going on our own, and we're not speaking from our experiences. We're speaking from the lived experience, but also ensuring that that lived experience is representative of much more than just that one individual. That one individual is speaking on behalf of a group of individuals. And I think much more over the next year, we'd like to facilitate that happening much more, to give people the skills, the confidence, the ability to feel that they can contribute in those meetings alongside me. What I'd like to do, and I've said this before, but I'll be honest, is just take a back step really and push forward people with lived experience to be at the forefront of all that we do. We've offered 23 co-production sessions and 96 people have attended. Co-production is at the heart of what we do as an organisation, and we'll try to do more next year, in the next year. And we've offered 5 awareness courses with 83 people attending. Again, that's a really good high number for us. If you remember that we're not necessarily we're not an organisation like Mind. We don't do what Mind does. So any groups that we run and we get members is a positive, is a bonus for us, I would say. We had 1,091 people attend our connection sessions, and I think that's a wonderful figure, a wonderful figure. We held 3 closed peer support groups, 15 attendees. Again, that's a good figure. Took part in 22 interview sessions for nurse trainees. And we've just been talking to the social work team about how we become much more involved in their work. And I know that Jamie will be leading on that. We were able to get involved in 3 sessions for pre and post nursing students and practitioners and approved mental health practitioners, and 3 Mental Health Act Q&A sessions. Forums of focus groups. So we use our focus groups forums, discussion groups to get feedback, and to use that feedback to talk to commissioners, talk to providers, try to influence change in a positive way. And we are solution focused in our approach. So even when we're hearing difficult stories, difficult narratives, we're always trying to look for a solution in that narrative to present the point. So we'll say, this hasn't worked, or this is difficult, but look, this might be the way forward. And normally that comes from our members. It doesn't come from the staff team, it comes from our members being solution focused themselves. And in terms of our forums, 77% strongly agreed that the forums or seminars gave them a sense of purpose, and 72% strongly agreed they'd been supported to have their say. And somebody wrote, I was inspired and supported by 2 Viewpoint members to share my story with them after they had shared their stories with me. I will always owe them both such gratitude for playing their part in saving my life. There are other, if you look in the annual report, you'll see other statements to that effect, but I picked that one because I thought that was really profound and quite moving. Facilitator feedback. So the people that are facilitating these sessions, their ratings were 92 agreed that these sessions went well or very well. 81% believed the attendees supported each other. I think that's really important. And 95% believed the attendees found Zoom easy to access and use. Now, I think that it's important for Viewpoint to think about absolutely getting back to face-to-face work. That's where our strength lies, to be fair. And virtual work is good, don't get me wrong, but our strength lies in that face-to-face work, that being with people, getting the sense of where they're at. And you don't often get the sense of where people are at when you're seeing them virtually, unfortunately. I was just thinking about this space and how good this space feels for some face-to-face work, and I may think about utilising this space at some point. But it really is important to not forget that if we have an opportunity to work face-to-face, we should. And actually, it's really good seeing many of you here today. Our connection sessions have been really good and really positive and innovative in terms of what they've provided. And these are, when lockdown started, we had to think about how are we going to engage with our members? How are we going to engage with the wider public? And the connection sessions have helped us to do that. And we've ran various sessions: poetry, spirituality, mindfulness, creativity, music group. we've just run groups so that people can be connected, so they won't be on their own. From that, people have said that it's helped them to improve their health and well-being, reduce social isolation, develop self-confidence. And the sessions have proved successful, with over 90% of the attendees reporting improved mood at the end of the session. And I won't go through all of the slide, but the next slide will talk to about how people felt about it in terms of their rating. And I'll just pick out one. Were you able to make a connection with each other group member? 93% of people strongly agreed or agreed. And I think that's profound. And I think it says something about the connection sessions and what they're there to do and what they have done for people. And I'll just read one feedback from a connection session, if you don't mind. Unlike the mutual sharing of ideas, beliefs, and experiences and interests, all within a friendly and jovial atmosphere. So that's really quite nice and good. Close peer support groups. So these are the groups that Irma has helped us in terms of getting funding for. And just like I say about the importance of our members and increasing our voices, increasing the voice and power for Viewpoint, I say the same thing about peer support groups. It allows people with lived experience to become facilitators, peer support workers almost, and to deliver a service to their peers, people that experience mental health or substance misuse issues in an environment that's what's called it, in a mutually supportive environment with clear and good outcomes. I think the aim of the group, as it says here, is run as equals. So there's no hierarchical nature. You are equal, but you're there to support the other person, to hear what they have to say. You share knowledge, experience, concerns, and your successes, and you provide help and support to each other. And I think these have been a wonderful addition to the work that we do as an organisation, I have to say. And the value of that is that people are able to take the next steps on in their recovery journey. So they're not just passive recipients of services, they become active givers, active participants.
Many of the people who go on to become a peer support facilitator go into employment, for example, perhaps with yourself or other mental health charities as well.
So we would always support. So I just said it, that we don't own anyone. We don't own anyone at all. And our attitude is that whatever you get from Viewpoint, you can use within Viewpoint, absolutely, but we're not the only place you can use your skills techniques. You can use it anywhere else.
Yeah, they're like transferable skills and potentially get employment.
An example is there was someone who did some peer development work with Viewpoint and then come to work at an organisation that I was running, a housing charity. And they worked for 8 years as that worker. They've now moved on to leisure services because that's what they prefer, but they've used all of their skills to get to that point. That's just one person.
So you know that 90%, 95% of our trustee board or our staff team have some kind of lived experience. And that doesn't exclude anyone from working with Viewpoint. In fact, it only enhances their ability to work for Viewpoint. So if I just go back to the closed groups, I'll just pick out some bits out of the closed groups. So attendee session ratings, 100% felt facilitators were supportive of their needs. 100% would recommend Viewpoint's peer support groups to someone else. 92% felt they made connections with each other, with the other attendees. What peer facilitators said, because I always think it's good to get what people that attend the group say, but also what the peer facilitators say. What do they say themselves? So 100% felt supported by their co-facilitator. 85% felt that they helped participants to problem solve. 100% felt they had met their goal for facilitating the group. I would say, and I haven't put them on the agenda today, which is again remiss of me, and they'll have to forgive me for this. I was trying to streamline the agenda. The peer support team have done some wonderful work and made real headway in terms of working within HPFT. And I want to recognise the hard work that you've all done as a peer support team today. So I'm recognising that, and I'm commending you for the work that you've done, and would hope that you continue to do that work and get ever better with it. And the other bit of this is that the Viewpoint User Council, you're going to do your chair's report later, Andy and Lamar, but I also wanted to thank you. So we have a Viewpoint User Voice Council as part of our, it's also part of our governance structure, but it does actually play a fundamental part in how we want to work as an organisation. And so they have access to the trustee board, so they attend the trustee board meetings. One of the chair for the User Voice Council attends the trustee board meeting. They attend our team meeting on a monthly basis. That's right, isn't it? I think. And we try and make sure that they incorporate it into the whole working of Viewpoint as much as possible. And I would also commend them as well, because they do some wonderful work and have really made a difference to the working function of Viewpoint. And they can be quite challenging at times, I have to say, but that's a good thing. That is actually a good thing. I think that we do need to be challenged as an organisation, and we can't sit in our laurels. So just to go back to our membership continues to grow, and we now have 1,103 members, 909 with lived experience, 12 carers. I think we've got more carers. Sometimes I think the thing is, people who lived experience, or service users, I'll say for this particular time, tend not to see themselves caring for somebody, just tend to see themselves as service users. But actually, when you dig deeper, you find that they're caring for multiple people, actually. And I think that's the bit that we need to do, because people are just not one dimensional. They're not a service user, not a carer. They could be both. And we have 182 professionals, which I think that's on the small side, really. I think we've got a bit more than that. Actually, there's something important about having a mix of people involved in Viewpoint. We're not just an organisation for people with a lived experience who have used services. There's lots of professionals that haven't used services that have a lived experience that we need to recognise that. And there's lots of carers that have a lived experience that we need to recognise that as well. So I want this organisation to work in a co-productive way and not close the door to anyone coming into it, I don't think. And becoming a member of Viewpoint enables one voice to become many to influence change. And that is true. And the more people we have, the more powerful we are as an organisation. So what next? One thing that we are going to do, and I think that what next is probably predicated on this, is we're going to have a strategic meeting in a couple of weeks' time to look at where we're at as an organisation and where we might want to go to. And in that meeting will be the staff team, the trustee board, and the User Voice Council, all working together as one to shape the future direction of Viewpoint. Because only by doing it in that way can we truly say that we're a co-produced, co-productive organisation, trying to meet the needs of our members and our stakeholders as well, because we have stakeholders as well that we need to make sure that we meet the needs of. So I won't go through the what next, because you can see that. I think how we will do this is important. I think I'll just do a couple of bits on that. So we will continue to hold co-production sessions to develop new and innovative ways of working. That's important, and we don't want to lose sight of that. That has to be at the heart of what we do. We are working with IMROC, and we've developed some training with IMROC that we will. I think it's March now. We will start to put through our members through the IMROC, through the Viewpoint IMROC training, so they get peer support training. And I think that's the next step for us, to develop peer support workers. Now, absolutely, we'd like all peer support workers to work with Viewpoint, but we understand there are limitations in terms of our capacity to offer work and opportunities to peer support workers. So we have to recognize that. So these peer support workers will have the skills to go out into the wider community and pick up jobs or experience in other areas. So we're not, again, I always say we don't own anyone. We just borrow people for a period of time, really. But we hope that by giving people this training, it will allow them to work with Viewpoint or with other organizations, but with our value system, with Viewpoint's value system in place. And we'll try and think about, the other bit that I want to think about is how we are able to capture the "you said to us" stuff better and what we're doing with that stuff. I think that's the bit that I'd really like to focus on in the next year, because I don't think we're doing it as well as we could do. And so I'd like to be able to do it so that it's on all our platforms and you can visibly see straight away what we're doing as an organization in terms of trying to influence change. And if we're not successful, we could say we've not been successful. That's not a bad thing, so long as we're learning from that particular thing.
I think things like the music group. I mean, that was something that the customer base said that they would like. We responded, and
Yes,
a very successful group runs because of that response.
yes. So I would say that all our connection sessions, all our peer post support groups, everything comes from co-productive sessions that we've run. So we don't just pick something out of the sky and say this is what we want to do, although I have been known to do that from time to time. It is done through a co-productive process, and we're always trying to talk to our members about what should we be doing going forward. So at this point, I'd like to pay some special thanks to our funders. I won't name them all, but to the funders that have given us money over that period, I'd like to thank them all, because you have helped us to make a difference in all sorts of ways. And we'll try to get more funding as much as we can. It's a conversation for Irma. I'd like to pay special thanks to a number of people. So I'd like to pay special thanks to Stephen Crow for his work as a peer support coordinator, and he would say a dog's body. I wouldn't say that, but I'd like to pay a special thanks to him because he has done exemplary work over the period. And I know he didn't start during the period of the AGM, but I think it's worthwhile, the period of this AGM, but I think it's worthwhile thanking Stephen for the work that he's put in and the commitment to the work, and being just a jolly good person to be with. And Lee as well. Lee has made a fundamental difference to the way that we communicate out to the world. He's changed it. He's changed the way that we communicate to the world wholesale. And for that, I'll be forever grateful to Lee for the work that he's put in. He may not see it as being very much, but actually it is a lot that he's done for us. And in a short space of time, he's only been with us, is it 6 months, a bit longer?
6 months.
Yeah, so it's it's been nearly a year then, isn't it? It's 'cause I remember Simon saying, I've been with you for 3 years, but I don't think it's been three. It doesn't feel like 3 years, does it?
Yeah.
So thank you, Lee. Christiana, I'd like to thank Christiana for all her peer support work and involvement work that she's done over the year. It's been very helpful, very thankful. I know that there are a number of people here that value Christiana's input. Jamie Ellen Byrne. Well, I can't say very much really, because I think that you are fantastic in what you do as an administrator. You're more than an administrator to me. You're not my PA really, to be fair. I know you're not getting paid to be a PA, but that's how it feels. So that's going to be negotiated there. But in all seriousness, thank you, because you've been really supportive and above and beyond what your job role dictates to provide support to the whole organisation. So thank you. And Irma, last but not least, I think, can I thank you? Again, I think it's really important to say that it's the things that we don't see you do that you do so well. I think that you've helped us develop our co-productive processes. You've helped us to think about our close peer support groups and how they should function. You've helped us to gain more funding, increase funding, and you've been very supportive to me, I have to say. And for that, again, I will say thank you. It's a genuine thank you for the support that you've given me and the organisation. And you shouldn't go without taking that thank you as being heartfelt. I thank the peers, the HPFT peer support team, but it's worth just getting their names of people that are in the peer support team. So there's Prab Sayan, he's there. There's Jaskaval here. Michael's in the audience up there. And I don't know if Anne's there, but Anne Geary as well. And then I will thank now the trustee board, or I'll thank the chair of the trustee board, and the trustee board can thank themselves. But I will thank Ray for all the hard work and commitment he's given over the year. But actually, it's not just Ray; it's all of the trustee board who've been, again, very supportive of me, very kind, very patient, very tolerant, and supportive of me as a chief executive. So I thank them for their help and support. I'm going to pay special thanks to Mr. Charles Walker, or Sir Charles Walker MP. He's our patron, and he couldn't be here today to do the. We had him as a guest speaker, keynote speaker. He couldn't be here today. He had some other things on, unfortunately. But I think it's worth me paying some thanks to Charles Walker, Sir Charles Walker MP. And that's me. That's me done. That's the year, I think. Thank you.
Somebody has to thank you
I was just about to say, I was
for
gonna
all
say,
the hours and hard work that you do, actually.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. You know
Makes me blush.